Hey, welcome to the 7 powerful steps for success in building a thriving neurofeedback practice. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh, and I've teamed up with BrainCore to bring you this amazing information so that you can hit the ground running and start to build your practice immediately. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself as we get going, but without further ado, I'd like to share my slides with you so that we can just dive right in and we'll get to know each other along the way. So what we're going to be talking about today are the 7 powerful steps for success as a neurofeedback expert. So I run a program called Neurofeedback Experts. It is an online workshop. It's incredibly comprehensive, and the goal is to not only inspire and empower neurofeedback practitioners to build the very best practice, but to give them the tools to do so that it's incredibly easy to build a practice that gets people the clinical outcomes that they're looking for, provides an awesome experience, and makes you a lot of money. My tagline for Neurofeedback Experts is change brains, improve lives, and make money doing it. And I absolutely believe it. And today, in our short amount of time together, I am going to begin to show you how. So first and foremost, what is a neurofeedback expert? And how can you go about becoming one? Okay, first of all, a neurofeedback expert has very strong clinical skills that are built on neuroscience and neuroplasticity. So depending upon your background, you may have varying degrees of both of those things in terms of a knowledge base or information that you know. So my goal is to get the ball rolling and to help you really bring your clinical skills up quickly in just a short amount of time today. Secondly, being a very smart business person. So you need to learn how to engage people in their neurofeedback care. First of all, to convert them so they join you, but secondly, to keep them happy and to keep them enthused about their care along the way so that they stay engaged and get the outcomes that you are trying to provide. Okay, so how are you going to do that right out of the gates? Number one is you have to start working on your clinical skills right away. So if you just got your BrainCore unit, I believe you now have the most awesome piece of neuroscientific technology on this planet. And I'm not kidding. If you know me, you know I am not kidding. It has the power to not only change your patient's or your client's life, it has the power to change your life too. And that's the first thing that you need to do. Healer, heal thyself. That comes from the Bible, from Luke, and Medici is known for saying it in Latin. What it means is get yourself on your neurofeedback system immediately, after our course, of course. But start using neurofeedback yourself. First of all, you're going to see all of your own training, which is going to have so much power. You'll be able to analyze your own trend graphs, which will give you practice first and foremost. But the most important part of Healer, Heal Thyself, get on your system, is that you're going to actually feel the shifts in your neurological state, your self-regulation, and your ability to maintain the calm, focused state. Who doesn't want that, right? And you're going to need it while you're building your neurofeedback practice. But you need to know what that feels like, because especially when you're starting out and you're building your practice, you may not have a ton of patients' stories to talk about. What you will have is your story. So you need to start building your story right now by getting on your system, improving your own brain, changing your own life, and being able to share that story with people as you build your practice. Okay, and you're going to get there through practice and contemplation. So when I first started out, fortunately, I have 6 children, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. But when I first got my system, I had the luxury of having brains of about every age around here to be able to put on the neurofeedback systems. So I really became very good at the technical aspect, putting people on and off very quickly without having any connection problems. And I will tell you, I have technicians that run my neurofeedback practice day to day So I haven't done any of that in years, but I've taught them how to do it seamlessly. So you really need to learn how to do it. But then I could look at my kids' QEEG brain maps and really figure out the nuances in each person's brain pattern. I could look at their trend graphs and see how their different brain patterns on the map corresponded to their trend graphs. And then I could see their response to training. As they continued to train, I would see their improvements happening. I would see gaps, areas that still could benefit from more improvement. That is what it will provide for you in yourself and in people you know. So friends, family, any brains you can get your mitts on, I would start doing that as soon as possible so that you can practice and then contemplate. Cut out time for yourself to learn about this, especially at the outset, so that you can really gain some really strong clinical skills quickly, and then it will become easy for you. Okay, and lastly is the science. So I have what I consider to be a PhD and a half because I only had to do one dissertation, thankfully. Anybody who's engaged in and created a dissertation knows that one is enough. But I have PhD training in two areas. The first area is development and degeneration across the lifespan in terms of cognition, thinking, and communication, which is still very important to me. And the second area is cognitive science, looking at brain functioning and performance and how that plays out as behaviors of the mind and the body. So I focused my professional career there for a long time, almost 25 years. I've also been a college professor for the duration of that time. I've always worked clinically too. So that being said, I've always done research too. So the science is really important to me because I've spent my lifetime thinking about clinical practice and how we can make sure there's efficacy in everything that we do. For me especially, and that's what I'm bringing to you also. So start digging into the science. I know some people won't have a scientific background, and part of my Neurofeedback Expert program is providing some of the science to you so that you understand that neurofeedback is proven to be effective through science, through studies that show that it works. And when you know that, your confidence goes through the roof. And I believe to be a neurofeedback expert, you need to be confident and you need to have strong communication skills. And that's what we're going to start to work on today. Secondly, so first, the how is you need to have strong clinical skills and you want to get that rolling as fast as possible. Secondly, you have to have tight office processes and procedures. And I've worked on this for a very long time. That is the crux of my Neurofeedback Expert program. It's providing to doctors who are new and people who have been doing this a very long time, basically a practice in a box. So you don't have to create any of the office processes or procedures. They're all done for you. But there's two aspects of that. The first aspect is marketing, advertising, and what I consider to be the most important piece, community awareness. So you need to let your community become aware of what you have to offer and to understand it. And then once you have people coming into your office, you have to provide an experience that, like I've already said, and I'm going to say it a few more times, gets them what they want in terms of their goals and provides an excellent experience in the process. So I always liken this to Starbucks because people will drive past 15 coffee shops to get themselves to a Starbucks so they can pay triple the amount of money for a coffee. Why do people do that? I do that. Guilty as charged, right? Why do I do that? I do that because I know when I get to Starbucks, I'm going to get a delicious cup of coffee and I'm going to get a very pleasurable experience. And Starbucks does this on purpose. So I love the light jazz music that they'll play or the Michael Bublé or Jason Mraz. When I come in, that experience feels great to me. It always smells delicious like coffee. There's people hanging out on their laptops. That's the environment that we like. And simultaneously, we're getting a handmade cup of coffee in a line that usually goes very quickly. So that is what you want to provide in your office. So I will challenge you while you're building your practice, at every step of the way, say to yourself, Does this feel like the Starbucks of neurofeedback? And if the answer is no, then contemplate that. Okay, so just to set the tone for what we're going to be thinking about, and then we'll wrap up this introduction, is what are the 7 steps for success as a neurofeedback expert? Well, they're built on neuroscience and a very strong business model, but here they are in a funnel fashion. So step number 1 is awareness. We're going to talk about how to create awareness in your community. Number 2 is knowledge. So in any purchase, the person needs knowledge about what they're going to be thinking about buying. That is even more challenging in neurofeedback, and we're going to talk about that. 3 is consideration. So when a person's at that point that they're considering working with you, there's some key steps that we can take. Selection. They have chosen to work with you and to join you for neurofeedback. Satisfaction. Making sure that you're providing a satisfactory experience. And I would say we should be going above and beyond that, and I'm going to show you how. Advocacy, you want them to advocate for your office. So you want them to advocate for other services in your office, but advocate to others in the community about your office. And then you want to build loyalty, brand loyalty. And as you'll hear me say in the summary, it is so much easier to keep patients and have them join you for other services or bring in other family members than it is to start this process over with someone new. So to be able to build a thriving practice, we want to keep the people that we have join us. Of course, we always want more, but we're building relationships with our patients or our clients so that our office and practice can get bigger and bigger and bigger over time. So loyalty is going to become very important. Okay, so welcome to the 7 steps for success. Again, I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. If you'd like more information about my programs, they're at drtrishleigh.com. I offer my comprehensive neurofeedback expert program. I offer monthly group coaching on niche clientele, and it's not on my website, but for a handful of people, I offer weekly group coaching on interpreting brain maps and trend graphs, because that's a very popular service that many people want to get better at. Okay, stay tuned and dig into these next 7 lessons, because we're going to go through these steps. I'm going to give you a ton of knowledge in a short amount of time and a downloadable for you to either contemplate how you can build your practice or to actually use while you're building your practice. Okay, stay tuned and keep going for lesson 1. Thanks.